He's in there, right? His mind somewhere.
Oh, yes. Brain readings remain normal. His mind is active. We just don't know what it's doing.
They're in the maze.
Meaning?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Okay, so here is the mystery of the puzzle of Accounting Plus. The puzzle reads, lost in your own mind, huh? The words are a maze and your eyes are its map. At the end is a prize just waiting to be discovered. All you have to do is take the first step. Now, for years, people have been stuck on this, trying to figure out what it meant. What's the first step? How do we do it? And I'll tell you right away, I still haven't figured out how to get out of the maze, but I do know what the maze is. So the mystery of the maze is related to the TV show Legion. It's a Marvel-based superhero offshoot kind of movie or TV series where the main character is schizophrenic, or at least thought he was schizophrenic, until he realized that he had superpowers, that he was a mutant, and he was the most powerful mutant in the world. So he can do essentially anything. And if you look up the phrase, what you'll find is an op-ed piece about season 2 of Legion. And the whole premise of season 2 is that people are being trapped in their minds, in a maze of their minds. And these mazes are catered, they're specialized for the person whom is trapped. So a person stuck in a maze will cycle through different levels or memories that are all related to a central theme. So this relates to Accounting Plus in that we are cycling through a bunch of different levels that are cycling a specific theme. Now, it's my theory that the theme of every level is destruction. So the top layer is the office. This is supposed to be the reality. And when you go into VR, you find yourself first in Tree World and then throughout the levels. And in every level that you find yourself in, the core of that level, the way you get out of it, the way you move forward, is through destruction, which tells you that the reality of your life is safety or peace. Being an accountant, that's the safest thing that you could possibly do. You're just sitting behind a desk crunching numbers. But when you enter into this maze of your mind, the idea is that you are revealing the core desire of yourself, the accountant, which is to have this destructive power.
It's his maze. If I had to guess, I'd say the contagion locks people inside their own brains, inside their own realities. Yeah, this is Ptolemy's maze.
Yeah, but gardening?
It isn't gardening. It's that he doesn't remember us. See?
He forgets what he's doing after every rose, and then the shears in the basket, they remind him. So, what are you saying?
It's a fantasy. Or maybe I should say a core desire. Our friend here is a memory machine. He remembers every moment of every day. Now, if that was your condition, what might you wish for?
To forget.
Wake him up.
How?
I don't know. You're the psychic. Hello.
Now, with the ARGs and everything, it gets way deeper, and just check out any of the other videos if you want to learn more about that. But as it relates to this specific clue, this is the answer. Legion Season 2, but more specifically, watch Season 1. You can't watch Season 2 and understand what's going on. You have to watch Season 1 and then watch Season 2. But there's so many things, both in Season 1 and 2, that reveal a lot of the inspiration behind Accounting Plus. And this is possibly one of the biggest clues in pointing towards the Secret Zoo level. Because we all know that the prize at the end is the zoo level if we can get out of the maze. And that is still yet to be seen how exactly we're supposed to get out of it. So we'll still have to figure that out, but at least we know Accounting Plus, or the world of Accounting Plus, is the maze, and we have to figure out how to get out of it. But more specifically, now we know it's not real, at least within the game world. The world of Accounting Plus is not real. So one of the main characters, the love interest Sid, she gets lost in the maze of her mind, as do some of the other characters as well. But they focus most on Sid. And what's significant is that the main character, David, who is essentially our accountant, goes through and he's trying to figure out what her core desire is, or what it is that's keeping her in the maze. And by figuring that out, she can escape the maze. And he keeps failing. Every time he goes through, he comes up with a new excuse or solution, and she keeps telling him, try again.
Okay. I get it.
You do?
Yes. It took me a while because I'm thick, but I finally figured it out. Figured you out, why you're doing this.
Me.
Yes, you. It's not a maze, not the maze. I thought it was, but this is you. You think that if you show me who you are, who you really are, all the mistakes, all the fouled up things you did, that I won't love you anymore. Can we go home now?
Try again. Try.
And so eventually you see that he does come close enough to the answer where she reveals it to him, and then they escape.
It's a war. Baby, this life, the things we endure. You said you saw the future, and it's an apocalypse. Who survives that? The lovers or the fighters? They sell us this lie that love's gonna save us. All it does is make us stupid and weak.
Thanks.
Look at me. Love isn't gonna save us. It's what we have to save. Pain makes us strong enough to do it. All our scars, our anger, our despair. It's armor. Baby, God loves the sinners best because our fire burns bright, bright, bright. Burn with me. Okay. I'm ready.
We also see in this conversation, as the show does this very frequently, where David will be talking about something, and there's these symbols in the background. For instance, in one of these scenes here, David is talking about how he is contacted from the future by a future Sid, and how she told him to help his enemy. But you see these giant floating fingers in the background always pointing at David, never at Sid, when he's talking about who he shouldn't trust or who told him to do something, which implies that he is the real enemy.
It was you in the orb. But not you like you are now. You from the future. You told me to help Farouk find his body.
You sure it was me?
I'm not crazy.
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to.
When?
When what?
When in the future? Tomorrow? Next week? A year from now? Longer?
I don't know. The future.
That... Was I old?
Older. You were...
And I asked you to help Farouk. Why would I do that?
Because of the plague?
Why didn't you say anything?
Because I promised you I wouldn't. And to keep my promise, you see, I had to... I mean, technically telling you your own secret probably is fine, I think. I don't know. I'm still a little shaky on who I'm supposed to not tell.
In the conversation with the monk, you see that David is trying to figure out why the monk is hiding information. In the background, you can see where David is talking to the monk that there is another giant finger, and that finger is pointing towards a satellite or a signal, not David, which I haven't quite figured out yet, at least as far as the show goes, but it still serves to notice that there are signs in the background as far as what it is that we should be doing in order to escape the world of Accounting Plus. We just have to be aware enough to recognize them when they happen, or when we hear them, or when we see them. And it could be something as slight as an item being there during one playthrough and not there during another, or a change in the location of those items. These are minute details that we have to catch and be aware of in order to shake up the reality, the quote-unquote reality of the game.
Teleportation.
Just quiet for a second. Let me think. Stop making people sick.
People don't matter. Only the body matters.
Well, they matter to me. They're my people.
But you help him, the king, and he will kill all of them.
I am not.
I have seen your mind, as you have mine.
Look. Where's the body?
We're not afraid to die.
Nobody is gonna look. I'm having a really hard time finding the landmarks here. Minds separated from bodies and minotaurs and mazes.
Throughout the TV show, the narrator will give us these kind of lessons about perception and how people can be manipulated into perceiving something that is not the truth, but essentially can become a delusion just based on shifting ideas in perspective. And so that's kind of a big theme there for Accounting Plus, especially if we're going to get out of the Accounting Plus maze, is that we have to figure out what is real and what is not. And when we interact with what is not, we kind of stay stuck in the maze. But when we interact with something that is real, that potentially is what can push us to exit the maze.
Are you okay?
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers and me.
A wise man once said, "Reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away." For the tick, reality is a product of temperature and butyric acid. Its perception of the world is its reality. The bloodhound has 200 million scent receptors. Its perception of the world is based fundamentally on smell. A dog doesn't reason. A tick never thinks about the universe in any way separate from its biological interactions with the universe. Human beings, on the other hand. Imagine a boy. From a young age, he is taught wrong.
This color is called red. This one is green.
Red, green.
Human beings are the only animal that forms ideas about their world. We perceive it, not through our bodies, but through our minds.
Remember, red means stop, green means go.
We must agree on what is real. Because of this, we are the only animal on Earth that goes
So, a big part of the Legion series, as David uncovers his power, is realizing that he is not only, the strongest mutant in the world, but his part of his delusions were manipulated by another mutant about as powerful as he is, who was living inside of his psyche. And they have this big kind of battle, and they fight on the astral plane or in their minds, and they have this very peculiar way about fighting, which is interesting. But this goes to show that David, who we thought was kind of the lowest in society, a schizophrenic, crazy person, who actually turns out to be one of the most powerful beings in the universe, is now in a place where he can take on the final boss, essentially, which is this other being that's ultra powerful, who seems bent on the destruction of the world, and the only one who could stop him is this person who went from nothing to realizing he's kind of everything. And I think that's kind of where Accounting Plus is leading us, is that we think that we're just an accountant following through the realities, but the actual reality is that we are the only. One of the cooler notes in the show is that this point where Sid is given a pair of glasses fashioned by another mutant who is able to shape realities, or at least shape reality within this kind of dream state. And these glasses allow you to see what is truly real in that reality. And so Sid, in this kind of psych ward that's gone into a state of chaos and rioting, which is kind of like a hellscape, she is able to navigate that realm simply by putting on these glasses, which shows her what's real and gets rid of essentially everything that appeared scary and distracting. It wasn't real at all, even though she would have seen and felt it while she didn't have the glasses on. When she does have the glasses on, it all kind of just disappears and is no longer able to affect her. And we see that she's able to kind of pass that along to the other characters as well. That goes along with the idea of the Accounting Plus world being not real, that we need to find probably an item that allows us to see what is real and what is not real in the world of Accounting Plus. That's the take the first step in the whole maze saga. If we can find out what is real and what's not real, and in terms of the video game, being able to interact with that item in such a way that it reveals something different than how we would have used it otherwise, then that's the first step. And once we figure that out, it'll all kind of just steamroll and snowball and spiral down out of the maze into the secret zoo level, if we can just figure out what that item is and how we use it. One of the interesting scenes here as well is where Sid finds this giant stopper in the middle of the desert. It looks like a tub stopper, and there's no water around, and a rabbit gets kind of thrown out of this hole with a hook stuck in its side, and she removes the hook, and then she gets hooked and pulled down the drain, and this kind of takes her to like another realm, world, whatever. But the rabbit, going down the rabbit hole, the rabbit is shown in that initial maze image as well, which is to imply that we need to save the animal, in this sense the rabbit, and by saving the animal you get pulled down deeper into the rabbit hole and we get to see what is real. one thing that the main bad guy Farouk reveals in wandering in the desert, they're going to find his body, which is hidden in this monastery, which moves apparently, kind of like a mirage, but apparently the building actually moves from place to place. He says that there's a secret to that place, that space and time move differently there, and you see that throughout the episode. I think that episode and the episode before it, they just kind of keep moving forwards. They're not like turning left or right. They just keep moving. And Farouk seems to know when they get closer, or whatever. And the secret seems to just be keep moving forward. But more specifically, the fact that they are wandering a desert looking for this mystical place is very reminiscent of an Accounting Plus, driving through the desert with the animals, and you're looking for the secret zoo level, but the level is infinite. That's not to say that we're supposed to spend hours in that level, but the travel, the journey is very much the same, where it looks like we're not moving, and there is no real indicator that we are close or far away. But the reality is we're never really that far away. It's just you have to find the right sequence that will lead us to the right point in time, where the means by which we can leave the maze and enter into the monastery, or the zoo level in this sense, becomes revealed.
Is he following?
A day behind, maybe more. Sacre. I know this place. We have been here before. My body.
So, we're close.
Time and space is relative here. La Terre a changé. Sometimes by the hour. It's part of the trick to keep me from myself.
And David?
A lost boy will wander this no place for the rest of his life. Unless he figures out the secret.
A lot of the music in Legion is very reminiscent to the music in Accounting Plus. Specifically, the flute guy music. How you get close to the grate in the dungeon level and you hear flute guy playing his music. But more specifically, in the stomach level at the secret level door. Once the door actually opens, you hear music inside, and the first thing you hear like kind of amplified, is the flute guy music. And that music I have playing here as well. The Crickets song in the beginning and here. And then also towards the end, when you've planted the seed and you get the apple in the burning tree world, you hear this weird distorted music box music, and that too is referenced in Legion with the music box theme.
Protect it. You know, don't let the fuse get lit. You gotta pick up my bomb over here. You ruined my whole place. It's on fire now. Pick up my bomb. You gotta pick up my bomb. Hurry. You grab my bomb. You ruined my generator. The generator was a cooling system. It cools everything.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a subscribe, add a comment. Feel free to go into the comments and give me your theories on the Secret Zoo level. Join the Discord, the Secret Zoo level Discord. Join the conversation, and we'll follow us around as we figure out more about the Secret Zoo level until eventually, sooner than later, we will discover it.
What it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be fated, to telling only lies. But my dreams,
هیچکس این درد و درک نمیکنه، احساس و احساس نمیکنه مثل من، و من تو رو سرزنش میکنم. هیچکس به این اندازه خودشو کنترل نمیکنه. خشمشو، دردشو، این درد و وحشت من نمیتونه افشا بشه. That's never free. اگر میلرزم
When I shiver, please give me a blanket. Keep me warm, let me wear your coat. Someone knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man.